And fuck you, Saudi Arabia. Nobody's ready for us to have to turn fucking heel. Fucking mindless consumer. I don't know how I could live with myself if I had everything and gave the fans nothing. What a selfish, don't like the language. Better the fucking show is unless I fucking swear. Mike AD, I'm getting sick of this shit product. Hi. I'm Mike AD, and this is This Week in Wrestling. On to Raw. Monday night from the Cajun Dome. It's that time of year when the McMahons start consuming the product and TV time. Triple H is out recapping the card, and then Becky Lynch caused mayhem. He thought it was cool, regardless. Then he gets excited over his own Hall of Fame induction. And then he introduces Aleister Black, Ricochet, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa. And why are they bringing these guys out when the whole roster is underutilized? He then introduces a table match between Braun Strowman and Baron Corbin, because it's never over between these guys. Fresh matchups, remember? This one was just an angry Strowman wrapped in kinesio tape like a mummy, Corbin taking full advantage of this wounded monster. The things Corbin has done to Strowman in the last calendar year, it makes you wonder how Braun has not taken the lone wolf to the taxidermist. Braun wins. No interference. I'm shocked. Tonight, we get a DIY reunion versus the Revival, and Ruby gets a chance to put on at least a decent match with Ronda. She deserved better. Tonight, she gets a chance to lose with Grace. Paul comes out. Strowman rearranges his trapezius, and we go to commercial. And we're back. And he himself, at his own expense, created this tribute video to Brock Lesnar. It's pretty good. Survey time. Will Rollins win? Not a very strong response. Out comes Balor. Commercial break. 2 straight interruptions followed by commercial breaks. Blood pressure continues to rise. We're back. And where's Paul? Hate it. Anyway, he puts over the guys who won the title he's currently holding, and he plans on taking it to WrestleMania. Out comes Lio Rush. Says he doesn't deserve to be the champion. Lashley does? So they're back together again? What the fuck? They destroy him. And out comes Ricochet. He flips around the ring and chases off the heels as we go for commercial. This can only mean one thing. Tag match. This was a definite showcase for Ricochet and the smaller guys. But I just didn't hear the crowd respond. There is a definite unfamiliarity with Ricochet, but this improved greatly as the match continued. And if it's any surprise, babyfaces win. Natalya is talking to Trips in the back. In walks McIntyre complaining about the yellow carpet that he's laid out for NXT tonight, and he reminds us all that he'll do anything to prove himself. He wants Seth. But in walks Ambrose and says he's free in a few months. He slaps him. He takes him as a substitute. Out comes Lucha House Party, and then he replays the Becky suspension segment and a house show incident and Becky's involvement in the aftermath of the Raw Women's Championship match and the ensuing crutchifixion that she doled out. If she does it again, she'll be criminally charged. As if we don't need any more interruptions. How does it feel to play second fiddle to a replay segment? Now it's Ryder and Hawkins against the House Party. No surprise, they lose again. Out comes Otis and Tucker. No last names. Too complicated. Interview segment. They're ready for anyone. Then Lacey walks out. Then walks back. Then Heavy Machinery do their best Vince strut and leave. You know that Adam Sandler track, fuck you at a medium pace? Well, this company knows how to fuck people at a rapid pace. Pound their asses into dust at the speed of light. A very exciting tag team, reduced to a low IQ weightlifting goon with a catchphrase. Fucking brutal. Back from commercial, DIY. They know why they're here, but Glorious and Gable don't. Wait a second. I beat you guys. And you're supposed to start at the bottom and work your way upward. Funny you say that. We're the #1 brand. We've been lighting it on fire for 2 years, and we're here to take over. In walks the Revival, and this is weird. Feels like they're turning these guys heel. We don't want to make an impression. We're here to make a statement at your expense. These teams put on the match of the year a few years ago in Toronto. We'll see what we get this time, WWE style. And wow, really good. No interference, no distraction, DIY wins clean. How does this make your tag team champs look? Finn and Rico in the back. How's the last 24 hours been for you? Great. but the star is Ricochet. You've only seen the beginning of me. Kevin Owens update. He knows why he fights. Maybe you should fight harder for your change. $20 for a popcorn and a soda. Brutal. Boston Hug Connection. You're new, not first ever, rebooted women's tag team champions. It's a dream. We're taking over the world and we're going to be champs for a long time. It's amazing. But now, you're at the top of the mountain and you have to defend that mountain. Okay, here we go. The Samoans ruin the celebration. Sasha is only interested in Sasha, and by the way, every time she wins a title, she doesn't remain champion for long, which is a legit fact. You got lucky. They are next. Can't wait for this breakup. A package on the first inductees into the Hall of Fame class of 2019, D-Generation X. Not a fan, really. Never got it. And this is what it is. Coco Beware and Donald Trump are in the Hall of Fame. Go figure. Dean Ambrose comes out, sans siren, and a good response. Like, what the fuck happened? This guy was a heel. Now he's a babyface? Here comes McIntyre. This was short and sweet. Claymore, but it's not enough. He gets another one, then it's over. Part 2 of the Brock Lesnar story, where he owns the championship. He's beat up everybody, and now he has to face a man who's willing to lose it all to win it once, and he's gonna put Seth down. Seth in the back. Any regrets? Paul's not a liar. I'm walking into WrestleMania with an acceptance of my fate. Brock is finished, and whether I'm carried out or I'm walking out, I'm going to be the champion. Then Ambrose walks in a serious need of a chiropractor, and he asked him where he was. And Seth says, have you completely lost your mind? And he walks off. Ambrose, Mr. Amnesia? Ladies and gentlemen, Elias. I'm fed up with my treatment. I'm an egomaniac. I'm interrupted all the time, and I'm a genius. I'm going to sing a song for myself. Hit the music. It's Aleister Black. Allow me to help you fade to black. And I have to say, he made a great impression with his physicality and athleticism as a big man. This one was way more competitive than expected. Aleister should not be going blow to blow with Elias. Aleister should make him blow. But he puts him to sleep. It's Ric Flair's birthday next week, and now with 14 minutes to go and Ruby already in the ring, Ronda makes her way to the ring. This was a good match that they should have had last night. Very competitive, with a great finish. Great episode of Raw. Too long, but just fresh with the introduction of these 4 guys. Fresh matchups that were promised. Now, what happens next week when we're back to the same old shit? Tuesday night, Smackdown from New Orleans. Out comes Shane, and then they cut to the Elimination Chamber highlights, focusing on the triumph and the heartache of Kofi Kingston. Tonight we get a 6-man tag featuring all 6 men. Again. And the promise as to who will challenge him at Fastlane. And now, finally, Shane McMahon. He puts over the NXT debuts and promises they're going to be here tonight again. And then out comes The Miz. He takes responsibility for losing the titles. And he confesses he used him to create the Dream Team that could relate to each other. He got the admiration of his father, the best moment of his career, the best of his life, and thank you. And he proceeded to let him down. So he wants an automatic rematch. Out comes the Usos. Shane doesn't want a rematch because his partner is a fraud, a loser, a fake A-lister, and that riles up Shane so much that he oversteps his authority and books himself in a rematch for the tag titles. Here comes Aleister Black, and apparently he gets Andrade tonight. Wow, they just love giving stuff away for free that people used to crave. Welcome to the main roster. They run a video package, and it's going to take time for the casual fan to acclimate themselves to the temperature of hell. Here we go, and it doesn't take long for the crowd to start digging this guy. And wow, this was pretty good. A good showcase for both. Aleister puts El Idolo to sleep. Ciampa and Gargano in the back. Can you keep up with the hype? Gargano calls he and Ciampa the future and walks into the bar in the most hideous purple camouflage ring gear I've ever seen. And they ask if it's bring your NXT superstar to work day. Nobody knows who you are and doesn't care. Uh-oh, we're gonna not set the bar, we're gonna break the bar. Jeff and AJ in the back, burying the hatchet for at least one night. Kofi walks in with a tree with pancakes impaled on it, and guess what? He's extending the pancake branch. Up next, DIY versus The Bar. Just an example of what happens when you give 4 guys who can do a tag match and give them time. DIY win. Randy and Joe and Bryan in the back. Can they cohabitate? They run a package on Ricochet. Wow, wherever this guy goes, he's gonna be a star. He brings Eric Young out of purgatory tonight. And now Asuka shows up after 3 weeks. Who the hell was her WrestleMania opponent? DX, Hall of Fame. Who cares? And now the interview. What do you think about being lost in the shuffle? She says she beat them both. I don't know, blah, 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 usual stuff. Mandy Rose, apparently, holy shit, this is an impromptu match. Surprise, surprise, interruption. Lacey Evans doing her catwalk bullshit and walks back. I'm glad this wasn't the finish. Oh, don't want to add distraction by Lacey Evans to the list. You gotta give Mandy credit, she hung in there with this match, hated the finish, fake eye injury, and she rolls her up. Now as it appears, she's the #1 contender for the title. Stop beating Asuka. You turned a lean, mean Japanese wrecking machine into a Japanese washing machine. Charlotte is in the back. Lynch beat the shit out of you twice. How does it feel? She's selfish and a ghost, and she doesn't exist. And by the way, it's the main event because of me, not her. The Miz and Shane are in the back and he tells him his father is going to be there at ringside. I predict a different result this time. Okay, Ricochet, Eric Young. Apparently, Byron Saxton has a way of ruining everything in Graves' life. I hate to tell you, Corey, you did it by fucking Carmella. Good match. Ricochet flies all over the place and Eric flops like a madman all over the ring. New Day interview in the back. It's not a flash in the pan, it's an 11-year journey, and wow, did Big E just take a dig at that Empire guy who faked his own beating. The longer they can keep this going, the better it is for the freshness of this show, because honestly, 120 minutes of Randy Orton sucks. A replay of Kevin Owens' imminent return. $20 for popcorn and a soda. Reminds me of going to the theater for Great American Bash. $12 popcorn, $15 ticket, $5 soda. Sitting through 3 hours of utter horseshit. Priceless. Anyhow, he's ready to fight again. Have you seen that guy's diet lately? Pizza, popcorn, he's going to be in a fight with the weight scale. Main event, Kofi, Hardy, AJ versus Joe Orton and Daniel Bryan. Bryan runs down the audience's intelligence. He serves a higher purpose, and he will educate you again. My opponent will be none of you because I beat you already. This was a short, sweet, and highly paced match, with Kofi once again getting the pin on Bryan. Afterward, Shane comes out and announces Bryan will defend his title against Kofi at Fastlane. It can't get any higher for Kofi. He ain't winning the title. It's only down from here. PVR kicks off, and once again, I'm impressed. Good episode, fresh faces, fresh matchups, everything Trips talked about. Unfortunately, none of these guys are going to be here next week. 6 days and we're back to the same old story. Wednesday, NXT. We start the night with a promo video for tonight's main event. Velveteen Dream versus Gargano, North American title. This should be good. Now off to the ring, where we're graced with a man we've seen a lot this week, Aleister Black. His opponent, one of the men who laid him out last week, Roderick Strong. Just a great match with innovative, risky offense. Black puts him down. Afterwards, the Era rush in the ring, but Ricochet comes out for the save, and together they turn the tables and chase off the heels. A flashback to last week from the Performance Center, where the MMA entourage crashed the party and tried to intimidate the division. Bitches. Bianca Belair, she's pissed that she's not the champ, and she still thinks she's undefeated. She's pissed at Shirai and Kairi, and she's not stepping aside, and wants them not to get in her way. A replay of the 4 horsemen of NXT, right now laying waste to Raw and SmackDown roster. Strong showings, not one loss in 6 matches. Where are they going with these call-ups? Can we even call them that? I just like the matches. Not that these 4 superstars magically appeared for no apparent reason. Like I said, follow-up, the key to success. Remember Ambrose? That follow-up? Fuck it. The Dusty Tag Team Classic is back. Undisputed Era, European Union, Forgotten Sons, Street Profits. 4 more teams to come. Next week, winner of the tournament gets a shot at the War Raiders. Mia Yim versus Xia Li, who appears to be really good with a fan. Too bad it's not no DQ. This was there. Yim wins with the face break thing. Just don't think Mia Yim as a babyface is connecting. Underwhelmed. Then Baszler and co. rush the ring, lay them out, outruns the Performance Center trainees. They get their asses kicked anyway, and all the babyfaces look stupid. Baszler wants respect, but you gotta earn your respect. Gargano's in the back with his wife, and like a twisted poltergeist, there's Ciampa. He's gonna do it on his own tonight. He doesn't need his help. What a twisted relationship. She's gotta be saying, what the fuck are you doing with this freaking idiot? Stay away from that psychopath. He's pulling you into the swamp. Ciampa is a bottom feeder. Jeremy Borash interview with Matt Riddle. Don't you hate it when guys are ruining your good time? I'm gonna go after any title I can get my hands on. He just sounds so chill and stoned. Not interested in the full-length interview. Fuck it. Next week, we get Yim versus Baszler, and now the main event. Velveteen versus Gargano, North American title. The last 5 minutes of this match was off the chain. Too bad the previous 15 minutes was so slow. A surprise victory here, with Velveteen winning the North American title. Long time coming, man. You deserve it. Now turn Gargano back face. Great main event. 205 Live. On the road to WrestleMania, and starting next week, an 8-man tournament to determine the #1 contender to Buddy Murphy's unstoppable reign as champion. This week, a pair of matches. Humberto Carrillo versus TJP, and Mike Kanellis, who believes every loss is a stepping stone to future success, against Cedric Alexander. The night starts right away with Ultima Ninja against TJP. This is complicated by Gallagher and Gulak and their anti-high fly bias. Coming to ringside. Damn bigots. Anyhow, Humberto wins, then the submission commission comes in and gives them false applause and puts him on their shoulders. Is there some kind of language barrier here? They must be mocking them. Of course they are. Oh, Tony Nese taught Noam Dar a lesson last week and realizes, you know what? He's the best. It's all about belief. Heel's gonna win the tournament and he's gonna win the title. Love couple in the back. Do you think your husband has fought the tough competitors? Nope. He's the most dangerous man here. She's good. Too bad he loses so much. Arya Daivari begins his systematic destruction of the Cruiserweight division tonight. Oh, I'm going to beat this guy so bad there's no way to say that the official made a wrong decision. Then he takes a jab at the Saints fans for not making the Super Bowl because of that bad no call. Poor Johnny Lyons anyway. Blink and you missed it. Buddy Murphy respects Drake because he's trying hard to find him contenders, and I just keep beating him. Okay, Maria's husband versus Cedric Alexander. Very good match here. A huge factor was the apparent knee injury after an apparent botched springboard. But Mike can't capitalize. They call this guy the opportunist, but you need to take advantage of opportunities in order to be called that. Just a lot of caution being thrown into a hurricane here. Just an awesome finish where Mike thinks he's won. The celebration begins, but Cedric had his shoulder off the mat, and in short order, it's over. When that guy finally wins, there's going to be a sex celebration. And now, we see who's in the tournament. Kalisto versus Tony Nese. Kendrick versus Gulak. Next week, we announce the rest. That's it for This Week in Wrestling. Don't like the language? You can watch every WWE pay-per-view in Mandarin, Portuguese, Japanese, Russian, French, German, Hindi. Doesn't matter. Product still sucks. Don't like the content? I'm like a food critic, but I keep getting food poisoning. Don't like the suit? Get this thing dry cleaned, I have to stand on the street corner for an hour. Don't like the set? You're setting yourself up for disappointment. Don't like this face? How could you not? Don't like my continual use of this 5-foot section of rope to make a punchline? Just remember, I make better use of it than Jussie Smollett. Just remember, I'm just a security guard. I just observe and report. But if someone broke in and stole my TV, I'd be happy because I wouldn't have to watch this show. You know, the world of internet wrestling journalism is completely saturated with self-absorbed megalomaniacs and equally clueless basement dwellers with green screens who think their opinion matters. Why else do you think I would be here? This week, Ricochet, Aleister Black, Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano turned Raw and Smackdown into WWE Takeover. And apparently, it's not over. They're going to be on TV for the foreseeable future. The reason? Ratings. Hate to tell you, they suck. Why do they suck? No stars. At least Vince is right about one thing. He says there's no stars. I will reiterate this as easily as I can. The WWE fan base has been waterboarded with the omnipresent dihydrogen monoxide of Roman Reigns for 3 years at the expense of the stars you should have been creating. And after only a few months in absentia, he comes to the brilliant conclusion that nobody on the roster has any superstar value. Good job. Solution? Raid NXT for the top guys. Result? Who are these guys? They booked these guys real strong with neither man dropping a match this week. My only question is, what happened to Lacey Evans? Runway model, heavy machinery, name shortened and crippled with mid-card toilet humor. EC3 poses in mirrors, loses and disappears. Lars Sullivan, still missing. At least I can say, Nikki Cross has been booked well in the appearances we've seen of her. Don't get me wrong, I love fresh faces. And in this week was fresh, because the TV was not the same formulaic centrifuge of faces. I just look at that dressing room and this roster and say, why isn't TV better? And it makes you think, how long before Aleister Black gets rolled up on a distraction finish, or has to wear a t-shirt to cover his tattoos while wrestling, or, you know what's going through my head, because you're in the IWC. We're all patients in the same asylum. Until next week, I'm Mike AD, and this has been This Week in Wrestling. Please don't fuck this up. But you know, they will. Fuck you, Saudi Arabia. Nobody's ready for us to have to return fucking heel. You fucking mindless consumer. I don't know how I could live with myself if I had everything and gave the fans nothing. What a selfish. Don't like the language? Better the fucking show is, the less I fucking swear. Sorry, couldn't take it anymore. I'm Mike AD and I'm getting sick of this shit product. My ears. Delete. And he's gonna run that conga line all the way to the unemployment line. Don't like the selection? Fuck you. It's called opinion. And if anyone has been watching this show, you're in very exclusive company. And based on what was to come for the next 3 hours, the fan base would need the remainder of the week or a bottle of bourbon to get over. This week almost made me give up in disgust.